I guess it's no last political video. Um, when I said that something good could happen for the rest of the world, right, outside of Tigray, I was talking not militarily. I was talking about like musically and stuff. Uh, creativity, music, impact that on the collective conscious, right, or the psyche of the masses. Uh, that like I'm happy that they are holding their own and took back most of their province, right? I'm worried that they might stop fighting their own fight and start something like a more protracted military confrontation, because they're if you beat up a Nobel laureate, it's not the same as if they meet uh, opposing force with just enough force and then stop, because you have to realize they're still being infiltrated with this like more it's like a nefarious outside influence that wants to push Protestantism in there, and they don't really know each other, or it's like they distrust each other and don't know each other under this condition. Then if they stop, if they go as far as to liberate themselves and then recognize that a lot of the ENDF soldiers were put to war by Abiy Ahmed, and don't really want to fight and don't really feel that way, right? There's not really a reason to keep fighting. You would just keep, you know what I'm saying? It's like that scene in Boys in the Hood, like, I wish you would have shot him. He's like, no, it's just been another dead, it would have just been another dead nigga or something like that. Like, it's like the haves and the have-nots, and it's the reason why the most of the violent, a lot of the violence is black on black or Asian on Asian or Mexican on Mexicans. Like, it's the haves and have-nots, right? And I think if you really want to defeat a Nobel laureate, right, you stop when you've reached your when you've established that you're sovereign, independent, or you know a province or whatever, because they're calling him a militant group. That should not be what you would accept. Like, I know you're thinking along the lines of like what normal people think, like, oh, that's a big deal. Like, they're a provincial army, like a provincial army. It doesn't matter if they look modern or what. Now, a provincial army, they don't torture their prisoners, and they don't continue to wage attrition. You know what I'm saying? Because your brother on the other side of the border, they just have this globalist this globalist government that doesn't represent them. So, in that sense, don't really listen to people outside of your own national like structures and military. Like, people, the outside world doesn't have a way to fucking comment, really, and they shouldn't tell people what they should do, or say that, you should support Biden or not support Biden or this or that, because it doesn't come down to Biden at the end. Like, it doesn't come down to the political arena at the end. It comes down to whether or not those are uh, Methodist. It's like if you let a vampire steal your energy, it was their energy. You gave it to them, it was there, it was already theirs. It was never yours. You know what I mean? At some point in time, they'll get their comeuppance, you know. But you have to look at it that way so that you can not be harvested and to get off the menu. You can't respond to the same type of shit that the rest of the world thinks of what they think, because they're not gonna you know what I'm saying, they see you as a militant group. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with being military mindset. I'm saying this group thing. You're a group. Do they know? To I know Selassie was hard, but wasn't I forget how to say his name. Meh something. So, because stuff doesn't stick in my head. So, because I'm not thinking about it all the time, I can't remember. I think the kings, the oldest kings, like of Ethiopia, were from Tigray. I think. Bam. Okay, I tried one more last time. Can't remember. Um, but even then, like, what do I even know? I don't live there. Uh, but I'm not gonna let anybody else that knows less than I do, or not that how much they know, but how much attention that they actually facilitate to fucking uh, understanding that culture in that situation. Like, a lot of people are gonna jump on when, you know, but like this whole time nobody even knows anything's going on. So anybody that's like pushing propaganda, I'm gonna see your ass. Like, I'm gonna be able to see you right away. Like, which has never stopped them before. It's never stopped them before. You notice, like, there's a certain strategy that in advertising where they talk past a lot of people, because if they're talking to the people that they're, you know, that falls into that category, then you are talking to them, you know. So they talk like to me like they're talking to somebody else. And as long as a grift works, there's always going to be some scavengers, and it's always going to fill that. They're always going to fill that position. You can't tell them what's advisable or anything until you show them with authority, right? And it's like, well, there's no right or wrong. It's like, do you notice if I stop doing something that that somebody hated, they would just thank you. Like, if I threw you in my jail, then you will respect my authority. You know what I mean? And then if I let you out early, you're gonna be like, oh, thanks. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad or right or wrong, but a lot of people want to act like they can play these cards. They can play these little cards and shit, and you have to find out that it's not about the issues at all. It's always about them. And so I have a feeling that something along the lines of creative arts or music, right, that we don't maybe think that part of the world is possible to affect, right, on the psyche, on the subconscious. But that is Nubia, though. Like, they always, like, in how the Atlantean Egyptian, Nubian ancestors were dealing in what's it called, encoding languages. Like they were alphabetizing languages, and they would be really subconscious, and symbolism, like it was really subconscious. And is I mean, that's got to be still there, even, you know, I mean, like things change so drastically then that maybe those people don't appreciate it anymore or something, or maybe we're not seeing the but I think I it's like as a race, right, a human race, there's more going on that you don't know. There's things that you can't believe. I know I'm like the wannabe Bobby Hemmett. In my mind, I think I am Bobby Hemmett, but I'm not. Okay. I just can't. There's like more that I could see than I could speak on. There's more things that I could, if I started, it wouldn't be, maybe get taken over by another energy. Especially if I have a condition that gets exacerbated or something by stress. You could be cloned. I mean, that goes for me too. You have to become adept in ways of resisting the cloning or not being cloned. Because a clone can wake back up, you know, and return to a state, you know, that it was in, that was creative, you know, where you can create or contribute a something to a platform, or you can contribute a position, somebody can admire it. That's like art. That's like, I don't know who cares about this about this rant. But you know, like I'm trying to figure out is ways that I could fight my own fight by not doing anything, because I'm busy. I stay busy, so there must be some work and there must be a purpose. And if nobody is listening to that, even you could get, you know, financial empowerment or whatever. Like I still have bad credit. I still, it's like there's some shit like he could have access to liquidity or liquid asset or whatever, and you still can't get a wireless router. I still can't order one because my credit is so fucked up that it's like I'm still a poor person. And there's a way that I gotta strategize. It's different from the way regular people think, I guess. And a lot of them suspect that I did something wrong because you're not any like, or they think that liquidity is wrong. Accessing it through certain means that are faster. And I didn't know that they're faster. I can't even tell anybody what to do like I did, or if it's gonna happen again, or what. Like all of these platforms like to lock down your money. They might be up and legit and on the up and up, but they all have to try and lock it down so you can't move it around. In some cases, like just start looking at you hard, like, oh, did you the other day, like you did this and that, so now we are gonna ask that you renew your KYC. I already know you. You know who I am better than I even know what the fuck uh, resources that you have data wise. Like I'm never in question. I'm never coming to question. Like there's no real question about who you are or anything like that. They're not under any illusions or about what I'm doing. But they gotta act like they are now. Somebody's breathing down their neck. Somebody's telling them to bring this, that. Show us that you're doing all this, and that. But they even know what I'm doing there too. Like everybody already knows what I'm doing. But I gotta renew my KYC, or like I gotta the platform went from being open to international to having an international platform and a US platform. So then when I just moved over with the same passwords and everything, like I just moved over to the national platform. Oh, we need to scan your ID. I'm like, fuck, you already got my ID. You're not nervous in the service about anything I'm doing. They just have to be weird. That's just one platform. Because another platform might be like blowing up and creating a lot of rich people, and they don't want people to move off all at once. But the way they did it was a more attractive way, which is to export keys to operating systems that you build out on. Then you would think, well, that was good because it holds its value very well, and a lot of people aren't going to be able to dump this crap. And you know what I'm saying, or not crap, it's excellent stuff. They're not going to be able to dump this stuff though. There's going to be a lot of people that are holdout that still want what they feel like it's worth, because it's an operating system that facilitates some utility. Then they know what they're doing. They could take the money out of that and put it back in, make your ass rich. Then everybody looks at it like, oh, you know what? Don't fuck with it. It's a scam. That's how it shit moves. So if there are things outside of my purvey, whatever, that has to do with a redistribution of the wealth, those motherfuckers know better what they're trying to accomplish than I do. I'm just the master of standing in the wrong place at the right time, I guess. And that could work for me too. If I already knew that and it was working against me before, then the same thing could work for me later. Right? And I didn't have to deal with a lot of KYC. Like they would be like, "Oh, what's this? What did you do? And what? Oh, you falling? Oh, okay. You want to move money around? Oh, good for you. We're so happy for it. But do you mind if we renew this? Is that we have to? They're just trying to lock everything in steps. You know, between here and Kraken, or there and Coinbase, or there and your bank or whatever, and they gotta act like they don't know you anymore, like a cat outside of the house and doesn't recognize the home, the master homeowner or whatever. Like, because we're outdoors, like you could be a wolf. I don't know. You're not a human anymore. Like, what the fuck? So I'm sensitive to people trying to push or run propaganda from a previous time when information might have been okay or right, into a time when it's past is due date, and people are fucking learning new things, and we're confronting things and making ourselves better. Then fucking don't try to go over us. Then you want to act like you don't know what we want to do with the money when we have the discipline to go without, or to be persistent. We have the discipline to work out how to pull up to these liquidity, and what the fuck are you gonna say then? That we want to fuck off? You don't have a business model or strategy or exit plans to even know. Like, they don't have anything that's going to be a it's like, what do they think it's stolen? You know what I mean? You must have did something dirty. You must have did something fucked up. Well, like, it is kind of fucked up not to have any knowledge or understanding of these assets. It is, because I could tell you from experience and shit. And I'm kind of, I don't like platforms that make you redo KYC, because you could be signing up to just let somebody else hold your money and it's theirs. Like you don't know what you said. It's all legalese, and there's another little box with another little terms of agreements, and you have to look through all that shit. But if you can't use the platform anymore because you can't do KYC, then you're gonna agree. Then, and at some point in time, they might be like, "Oh, these holdings are whatever, something. You signed this, that." It's like, "Oh, okay, I can see what happened here. This platform is shit and it doesn't work anymore." Okay, well, or it might be fine, and they were just somebody was bringing down their neck, like, "Oh, you let this, and that happen." Like, people are becoming upward mobility, when the bottom of it, the federal government hates the small businesses, and they hate people going to work, and they hate, like, like, they hate everything. They really tried to alienate us, or try to genetically modify us, get us to what's it called? Scrape out the pussy, cut off the dick, scrape out the pussy. That's what they're literally are fucking about. It's not, and on a human level, nobody is. But then they get down with some bullshit agenda, then they just are that. It's like this, you can imagine, right? Like the Stanford experiment or whatever, or certain experiments that, if they escape their control, if the experiment escapes the control measures, right? The efforts that are meant to keep it enclosed, right? That could look any way. That could manifest in many different ways, because I haven't really given you any specifics. But you would still have people under the same influences of trying to collect certain kinds of data, but outsourced onto the public and shit. Like, was that always the end game? Then it was never an experiment. It was developmental, and they had people thinking that they were participating in experiments when they were being developed on. Okay, so they cloned them. Then you didn't need vats of jelly to fucking keep them salinated. But saline still has something to do with it, huh? Why saline? It's like, I can't really, it's like, I know I can't blame anybody for stabbing me in the back and leaving shit flavored water, Like, the reason the water is flavored shit is like minerals, or it has to do with, like, you're not being, like, thirsty, and maybe you have bad breath or something. Since we pursue sources of water, and you're not wrong, and to build your communities around water sources, right? You have to imagine at some point in time we're going to die next to the water source, hugging up, like hugging on to it or whatever, and then poison it with your rotting corpse. Is it poison? So it takes a village to raise a man, because you can't keep him from poisoning the water with his own corpse. Does that mean that man is wrong? You're not wrong.